Welcome to another episode of the Eshlemania TV vlogcast here on the Eshlemania TV YouTube channel. This is our first one for the brand new year of 2022, and I wish I could tell you that things are looking a little different for 2022, but they're not. If you're here looking for information about outdoor power equipment, I got some bad news for you. It's going to be more of the same, possibly a little bit worse than what you've been experiencing. And I say that because the word of the year is going to be allocate. And all the different ways of using the word allocate, such as allocated, allocating, you're going to hear a lot of that, especially here at the beginning of the year, because that's what's going on with the products and the inventory from most of the major manufacturers of outdoor power equipment. Right now with Echo, you probably, if you're a dealer, you can't even go online to your distributor's website and place an order for Echo equipment because they've only got a little bit to go around, so it's being allocated. And what's happening is they're saying, okay, this area, you're going to get this much of this piece and this much of this model and this much of this, and split it up accordingly. So I don't know when it'll be that you'll be able to actually just order stuff from the distributor again. It's hard to say right now. They're not the only ones. Husqvarna, same thing. A lot of you dealers, you put in your spring booking orders, and if you still actually have a sales rep, you're not going through inside sales, then you know that there's price increases and your orders have been shuffled around a bit because same situation, not enough product to go around. So what I was hearing from some people, they were saying that it's possible you might only get 3/4 of what you put in for your order, for your spring booking order. Some of it might not even arrive during the spring. It might not be till later on in the year. And again, it's not just them. It's not just Echo. Steel has the same problems. If you've listened to anything else on this channel, you know about the problems that Briggs and Stratton has, and all the names that fall under that former Briggs and Stratton regime, which, they ended up filing for bankruptcy. So they've had these issues going on long before all the stuff with COVID started, but it hasn't gotten any better for them either. Simplicity, Ferris, Snapper, Briggs themselves, you're going to see a big backup there. We touched on this before, that there was actually a lawsuit. Husqvarna took Briggs to court and sued them because, again, this year Briggs was like, yeah, we entered into this agreement saying we're going to have this many engines for you, and we're not. So, Husqvarna took them to court, filed a lawsuit against them. I believe they're getting that worked out. I can't remember where that stands at the moment, but yeah, that was how many years in a row now Briggs has done that to manufacturers that were looking to buy engines off of them, and happened again this year. So, yeah, they're way behind. John Deere, if you look at what they had going on last year, they're one of the biggest names out there, but you could not find a John Deere zero turn to save your life towards the middle to end of the mowing season last year. So I can't imagine that it's going to be any better this year because they're already behind from last year. It doesn't magically get caught up overnight. It doesn't magically just get caught up over the wintertime. It's going to be the same with Toro. Toro ran out of walk-behind mowers a quarter of the way into the year. I mean, there was just so many people that were after Toro walk-behind mowers because nobody else was really making them. It was slim pickings. Again, this is all stuff that I talked about last year, and it came to fruition. It's going to be no different this year. So again, I will urge any of you that you might know that sometime throughout the year you're going to need a certain piece of equipment, or you're going to have to replace a piece of equipment you already have, or you're going to need a bunch of the same part over and over again. Let's say you have a whole fleet of zero turns. You're going to need some blades, you're going to need some oil filters, you're going to need some air filters, that kind of stuff. Go out there and stock up on all of that stuff right now if you can find it, especially with equipment. Don't wait around. Don't wait around thinking you're going to get it on sale, you're going to get a better deal, because it's not going to happen. If you wait and you are able to actually find it later on in the year, the price is going to be higher. I mean, there's no signs of the inflation slowing down or any of this stuff getting caught up. So, again, if it is out there later on in the year, you're probably going to be paying more for it than you would if you just bought it right now. There's really no way for the prices to go down from what they are now. You know, the employees that are still there making this equipment, they've been getting raises. You know, they're getting paid more. Manufacturers, everybody's paying more now just to get more bodies in the door. So you're not going to get these employees taking a pay cut to be able to make the equipment cheaper, to be able to sell it cheaper, right? The materials are costing more, so you can't cut the corners there. The amount of money that it takes to transport the stuff, you know, from the assembly line to a warehouse or to a dealer, all that stuff's going up now. So there's no way that these prices are coming back down, and until there's a big surplus of some of this equipment, manufacturers aren't going to be running any kind of special promotions on it because they don't have to. It's going to sell itself, supply and demand, you know. So don't wait around for it. The other thing is, you know, even if you're not a contractor or you're not a dealer, you're just a regular consumer, and you know, you're looking to get your lawnmower serviced by your local repair shop, get it in there right away. Because if they don't have the parts to build the new equipment, then there's a good possibility they might not have the parts for you to be able to get your mower serviced if you wait around. I know you're saying, well, it's just common stuff, air filter, oil filter, maybe some blades, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's been happening. And think about it this way too. You know, these manufacturers, they're struggling to have the components and the parts to build their new equipment. So if you have a mower that's 10 years old, that's not going to be a priority for them to make sure that they have parts available to service something like that. You know, their priority is going to be their new equipment, trying to get it out the door. So they're going to put everything they can into coming up with the parts and the components to make that stuff, not this 10 and 15 and 20-year-old equipment that you're still hanging on to. So get ahead of the game, get ahead of the curve, get out there, and if you go over your own stuff, get over it and see what all you're going to need, start putting your list together, and start shopping around for it and get it while you can. I mean, again, even if it is there later on, you know, even if you can find the parts later on, chances are the prices are going to be higher, shipping's going to be higher, something's got to give, something's going to go up, if not everything. So take care of it now while you can. It's going to be tough for dealers because it used to be, you know, somebody brings in their lawn tractor and you could say, okay, look, it needs this, this, and this. You know, you're getting up here a couple $100, several $100 to repair this thing. Maybe it's time to look at a new one because yours is, you know, 5 to 10 years old, you know, and that's it. You would take them out to the showroom floor and they would look at a new one, and then you would kind of go back and forth and say, well, you know, maybe I will just get this one fixed, or yeah, you're right, you know, this new one's going to come with a warranty. It's not going to cost all that much more, and if I get another 5 to 10 years out of this one, and blah, 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 you know how that goes. That might not be an option this year because the dealer might not have the new stuff to sell you in place of your old one, and they might not be able to get the parts to fix your broken old mower. So get on it now. Call up your local dealer, your local repair shop, and say, hey, I need to get my equipment in for service ASAP. You know, get me in there as quick as you can and get this thing going over. A lot of people, you know, they wanted to wait till after the holiday season. They got to pay off their credit cards and stuff from all their Christmas shopping and everything. And you know, it's normal in our area for people to wait till closer to tax return time to get this stuff done. They got their tax return coming in, and then that's when they'll say, hey, you know what? I don't feel like putting the money into fixing that old one. I'm just going to buy a new one. Well, here's the other thing with buying a new one, even if you can find a new one. Prices are way up on the new stuff. You know, it used to be you could get a, say a Husqvarna, like a 42-inch cut Husqvarna lawn tractor for between $1,800 and $2,000. And out here in rural America, you know, in the housing developments and stuff, that was what the people wanted to buy. You know, it was a good price. It was a good, reliable machine. They have flat yards. They have like a quarter to a half an acre. And, you know, a mulch kit wasn't that much expensive, or wasn't that much more for them. They could buy a bagger if they needed to collect leaves and stuff. Wasn't that much more for that. It was a good, solid tractor at a good price. That's not at that price anymore. You know, they're going to start at around $2,200 or $2,300 now and go up from there. So, you know, again, that's if you can find them. And the ones that are coming in, they're not going to last very long. So there is going to be no benefit to waiting around this year to try to find a better deal, to get a leftover or an end of season closeout or something like that. Grab it while you can. It's the same way with not just lawn tractors and not just gas-powered push mowers and that stuff. It's the same way with leaf blowers, string trimmers, chainsaws. You know, handheld stuff. It doesn't matter if it's Echo, Steel, Husqvarna, Red Max, any of them. Get out there and get it right away, or you might not get it, or if you can, you're going to be paying a higher price for it. Yeah, Echo. I know for sure Echo is right now, they're struggling to get backpack leaf blowers out there. You know, you're probably not going to see like a 580 from them. You know, you might be able to find a 9010 here or there, but most of those are being snagged up right away. And the commercial guys were already at their dealers and said, hey, I need them. And the dealers are selling them directly to them. And you're not going to see too many of them sitting around on shelves collecting dust this year. Same way with the chainsaws. You know, Husqvarna, they were struggling with some of their 400 series chainsaws. They got that new 592 XP out. Hopefully you'll see some of them popping up, and there's not any kind of issue with them. But, you know, Steel, they had problems last year. So, again, it's going to take a while for them to get caught up this year because they're already so far behind from last year. It's a huge ripple effect that we're going to keep feeling for all of this year. Some of you might be able to get away with switching over to battery-powered products, you know, especially if you're looking for a walk-behind mower. There's plenty of options out there in a battery-powered self-propelled mower or battery-powered push mower. Same way with the battery-powered handheld stuff, but a lot of that was going up in price too because there were shortages of the components to make the stuff, you know, for this battery-powered equipment. Same thing with the automotive industry, you know, no chips, no semiconductors. You need all that stuff in the battery-powered equipment too, for your battery management system and the circuit boards inside the equipment. And it was a struggle. I know there was some Husqvarna stuff, the Husqvarna 115 pole saw. We put an order in for them in May of 2021. They're showing a ship date now, estimated ship date of April of 2022. And that could get pushed back again because it was pushed back over and over again during 2021. And the price jumped way up on them now too. So when they do come in, they're going to be much more expensive. And that's just the way it is, you know. We don't have a say in that. We can't control any of that. That's all by the manufacturer. And again, it's going to be supply and demand. You know, everything to make this stuff is going up in price, so they've got to raise their prices on it. You know, you'll see that across the board with all these other manufacturers too. It's going to catch up to all of them. You know, I was just reading how Toyota was the number one selling brand of automobile in North America in 2021. They finally beat out GM, but the reason why was because they had a pretty good stockpile of chips at the beginning, microchips and semiconductors at the beginning of the year. And at the beginning of the year, they got out to a big head start over everybody else, and they were able to hold on and outsell everybody else. Now, Ford, they were the ones that everybody was talking about having the problems. You know, they didn't have the chips for in their trucks, and they were struggling to get trucks out there and stuff. But they were able to start to counter that a little bit. And at the end of the year in December, they had a hell of a December, and so things are looking up for them. But, you know, my point is it's going to be the same way with this outdoor power equipment. You know, the manufacturers are struggling to get this stuff. So If you can find something here at the beginning of the year, grab it. Because if you wait around till the end of the year, again, I can't say this enough. Either it won't be there, or if you can find it, you're going to pay more money for it. So just go ahead now. Get it. That way you know you have it. And get it knowing that you're probably paying less money for it now than you would later on. So that's what we got to look forward here in 2022. And I wanted to make sure to put that out there and make sure you guys are all aware of all this, because I think that the best way to combat these issues is to have a game plan, to know ahead of time this is what you're up against. A lot of the manufacturers, the sales guys for these manufacturers, they'll try to play it off like, oh, no, don't worry. We're going to have this eventually. No. We got that corrected. No, we're getting it taken care of. That's their job. That's their job, to keep you hooked and keep you wanting more and keep you from saying, I want my money back. I know these people have this product. I'm going to go buy this from them instead of yours. So you don't want to fall for that. I've got nothing to gain and really nothing to lose in telling you that there's all these shortages. I'm just being honest with you, because I think that's what we need right now. Is we need some transparency. We need some people that are willing to say, hey, this is what's really going on. We don't have a whole lot of that in anything these days. Not just in sales, but in our media, our politics, all of it. Everything is just so clouded, and everybody's just trying to push their agendas, and that's it. Now you're not getting that here. I'm just telling you flat out, hey, this is in your best interest to go ahead and do this. I'm not a steel dealer. I'm not a steel guy, but I'm telling you, if there's something from steel that you want, go out there and get it now while you can. If you can find it, buy it now. I have nothing to gain in that. I am not a fan of the Simplicity products. If you're a Simplicity fan and you're looking for a new Simplicity tractor, whether it's a Regent or a Broadmoor or a Zero Turn, whatever, go out there and get it now if you can find it at your dealer. Get it while you can. Again, I'm just being honest with you. I don't know how else to say this other than at the end of the year, I'll be saying the same thing again, that, hey, look at this. We're out of all this stuff. They were out of this here halfway through the year and blah, blah, blah. And I warned you guys. I'll be saying I told you so. So, 2022, boy, it's going to be a mess. But again, if you know ahead of time and you can game plan for it and you have a little bit of an idea what you're in store for, hopefully that eases the blow a little bit. That helps make the struggles a little easier, a little bit more manageable. There's also not just the equipment and the parts and all that stuff. There's also the manpower. So if you do go to your dealerships or your local repair places, go easy on them. They're all struggling to find help. They're all struggling to keep help. They're going to be backed up with stuff. Just take it easy on them. If you're looking for a job, again, I was saying this all last year. If you're looking for a job, now's the time. If you're into this kind of stuff and you want to get out there on your own, start your own repair shop, hey, now's the time. Everybody's backed up. If you can find the parts to do it, and go for it. But yeah, so that's where all that stuff stands. I do have to mention that if you are in the market for a new Zero Turn or a new lawn tractor, it's time for yours to be replaced. And the prices are very high on that stuff now. The availability is pretty low. Maybe it's time to start thinking about that robotic lawnmower. Just got to throw that out there, because gas is going up, parts are going up, oil's going up. If you can save yourself some time, save yourself some money, buy a robotic lawnmower, why not? There's never been a better time to think about that now. And I gotta say it. If you have any interest in a robotic lawnmower, be sure to check out www.roboticmowerservices.com. You'll find all kinds of information on there about automowers, automower accessories, and all that good stuff. You'll find some information here on this channel as well, but that's the main place to go, www.roboticmowerservices.com. Check out all the good stuff on there about robotic mowers, specifically the Husqvarna Automowers. And I'm mentioning them because I know that the 430X, 450X, they were tried and true models. I know that there's going to be plenty of them here in North America. The odds of them running out or there being a shortage of them is very slim. That's a model that's been in production since 2016, so they're always sure to have plenty of them on hand. The one that might be an issue is that new 415X. That's coming to North America for the first time here in 2022. So it's not like they're going to have leftovers from last year or the year before. They're not going to have any kind of a surplus of them. And that was a very, very popular model over in Europe. The dealers over there did very well with that last year. So that could be an issue this year. If you want one of them, make sure to say something to your dealer ahead of time. Let them know for sure you want one of them, that you're very interested in one, and when they get their hands on one, to give you a call right away. Because that could be one where there's some issues, some back orders and that kind of stuff, just because of the popularity of it and them not having the leftovers from last year or anything. The 315X, that's another one that you should have no issues with. They've been making that one for several years now. The 115Hs, still a pretty good inventory of them here. The high cuts, the 450XH, the 430XH, they are only available here in North America, but I know there's plenty of them, so you shouldn't have any issues if you're looking for one of them. Now, the all-wheel drives, that could be an issue, and I say that could be an issue because last year they put the stop sale on them here in North America because they had some dealers who weren't diagnosing stuff properly. They were making warranty claims on stuff that wasn't actually the problem, and there was a faulty component on a circuit board that they had outsourced, and what would happen is it was the motor control board, and what would happen is when that component would go bad, it would cause the wheel motor to lock up. Dealers would replace the wheel motor, make a warranty claim on it, get paid for it, and then realize, we put a new wheel motor in there and it's doing the same thing. Evidently it wasn't the wheel motor. Well, Husqvarna already paid them for that wheel motor. Now they're going to pay them for this circuit board that was actually the problem to replace it. So after they wasted a bunch of money with these false diagnosis and warranty claims, and they had a battery issue, and they just said, that's it. Stop selling them. We're not going to let you order anymore. We're already putting everything on hold until we get everybody on the same page. And they eventually got the majority of the dealers on the same page. There's still those few out there that just, you can't help them. But at any rate, when they put that stop sale on them, a lot of people were still trying to buy them. And, the dealers couldn't order any more in. Dealers had sold out of them and had more customers wanting them. It was the same thing over in Europe, except over in Europe, they didn't put a stop sale on them. Dealers just ran out of them. And there wasn't any more to order in. And there was people that were emailing us, they were willing to pay way more than MSRP for these things because that's what they were going for over there in Europe. They were paying way more than MSRP because there was such a shortage of them and they were in such high demand. And we were close to making a couple deals until it came to the point where we had everything lined up basically, and then the dealers over there realized, we're going to have to pay a shitload of money in taxes once these things come into the country. So that kind of fell through. But at any rate, you get the hint that that was a popular model, the all-wheel drive. We love ours. All of them that we installed were absolutely awesome. They did great. There were some people that have the horror stories because their dealer didn't know what they were doing with them, or the installation was bad, or the dealer didn't have parts for them when they did have that issue with the circuit board, and it is what it is. But ours, we loved ours. We have two of them here that we're using. all of our customers that we installed them for, we sold them to, they all love theirs. So they're going to be in very high demand again this year because there's so many people that couldn't get them at the end of 2021, and they're going to want them right off the bat here in 2022. So the 415X and the 435X, I look for them to be the two that you would want to worry about. If you're in the market for either one of them, you want to make sure to get on that, get a hold of your dealer and say, hey, look, I really want one of them. I'm very interested in one of them. Put my name on your list, whatever you got to do to let me know as soon as you get your hands on one. The 535 all-wheel drive, that was another one that, it did very well because it was an all-wheel drive, just like the 435X, but it wasn't as popular because the interaction isn't there. You don't have the menu on the actual mower, and, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, having to go through Bluetooth only, through the app on your phone. So a lot of people shy away from it unless they absolutely had to have that third guide wire. So the 535s, it was hard to find one of them if you needed to find one of them last year. We had to find one at one point, and I know another dealer that was desperate to find one later on in the year, and they struggled to find one. So 535s could be a little bit of an issue, but I wouldn't worry about them as much just because not as many people are after them. A lot of people are going to be after that 415X and that 435X. So those are the main two. Again, the other ones, your 115H, 315X, 430X, 450X, 430XH, and 450XH, you shouldn't have issues with getting them. They should be pretty readily available. The 520, that was one last year that sold pretty well for the commercial guys. So, again, that's really for commercial, so it's not as big of a demand. It's not going to affect as many of you out there. The 550 and 550H, there's always plenty of them to go around. So, again, not a big worry there. The E-Post mowers, that's a specialty one. That's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day there, but they are available, at least here in the United States. But it has to be just the right situation for it to work. And, again, we'll get into more about them later on. I'll just say that they are available. If your yard fits the description of what it's going to take to be able to work successfully, then it's something you might want to look into. But, again, not a big worry on that like the 415X and the 435X. So, moving on here, now we talked enough about the bad news of 2022 and all this stuff with the power equipment. Back between Christmas and New Year's, we went to see the new Spider-Man movie. What's called Spider-Man No Way Home. And, if you watch the previews, they say this is the greatest Marvel movie of all time. And they really, really brag this movie up. So, before I go any further, if you haven't seen this movie, I am going to give some spoilers here. So, if you're worried about that, you might want to tune away. Just hit the subscribe button and come back later. But, yeah, most of you've either seen it or you have a pretty good idea. The stuff I'm saying isn't going to be earth-shattering. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it, I love the Marvel movies. I think they're awesome. But I'm also in my early to mid 40s. So when I was in my early 20s, I guess, that's when the Toby Maguire Spider-Man movies came out. The first one had Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. And if there was ever a guy made to play a character, that was a perfect match there, right? Yeah, that dude, he was awesome as the Green Goblin. And then the second one came out with Doc Ock, Dr. Otto Octavius. Huge hit, right? The third one was a little bizarre. It was okay, right? But that's the one that had Topher Grace. And that's the one where we had, Venom and, I can't think of his name now. James Franco. James Franco plays Harry Osborn, and he takes over for his dad as the Green Goblin. trying to kill Spider-Man, and he's all pissed off at Peter Parker. And then you have the Sandman as well in that. So the third one had a lot of stuff going on, whole lot of villains and bad guys and crazy stuff, but I just didn't get into it as much as the first two. So I'm telling you about that because, obviously, if you haven't heard, in Spider-Man No Way Home, they bring back Topher Grace. I'm sorry, not Topher Grace, jeez. They bring back Tobey Maguire. Topher Grace is not in No Way Home. They bring back Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I can't believe I messed that up. Anyway, so they bring back Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in No Way Home. And they also bring back Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. And they bring back the guy that plays the Sandman and Doc Ock. They bring him back in No Way Home. The whole multiverse, bringing in this Spider-Man and the villains from these other universes. And they also bring in Andrew Garfield from those two Amazing Spider-Man movies. I'll be honest with you, I never watched them. Never watched any of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. But, again, I did watch the ones with Tobey Maguire. And they were awesome. So, I thought this movie was good, but I think without the nostalgia of Tobey Maguire and Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, I don't think there's a whole lot of substance there outside of that, and outside of Andrew Garfield as the Amazing Spider-Man coming in there and the villains from his movies, Jamie Foxx and the guy who plays Dr. Connors, because in this movie, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, there wasn't like a big continuation from any of the other MCU movies with him in it, other than it starting out, and the whole point of this movie was that, at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, when Mysterio reveals that Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker, that was the whole issue with this movie. He was trying to get people to forget that, Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But I don't really know where they're going with this Tom Holland Spider-Man character, because at the end they make everybody forget that he is Spider-Man. So, he's there talking to Happy, Iron Man's old assistant, Happy, and even Happy forgets who he is, has no idea that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, has no idea who Peter Parker is. So where's this going to go? What's the point of this? I don't get it. Maybe later on down the road, this movie will seem very important in the Spider-Man character arc, but as of right now, I don't see it. It was a long movie. There's a lot of dialogue. A lot of it could have been cut out. Could have been shortened up a bit. But I think that I think we're just making this into a bigger deal than what it really is. I think it's because of the nostalgia of Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe and Doc Ock. We're getting to see all them again from years ago. And the fact that since Avengers Endgame, they came out with what? Spider-Man Far From Home, almost right after that. And that wasn't really that great of a movie either. But at any rate, we were so hungry for something from that phase of the MCU. They came out with that Legends of the Ten Rings and the Eternals, but not quite the same, right? Those are all new beginnings. It wasn't the same. Like, Spider-Man is a character that we know from all those movies, from Captain America Civil War, from Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. So we know Spider-Man from all of those movies. So we were excited to see that familiar face again. The only other familiar face we had since Endgame was that Black Widow movie, but nobody really cared about that because we already know what happens to her. We already know she dies. So it was more of an origin story and just kind of thrown in the middle of stuff, right? So I think that that combination of the nostalgia from remembering those awesome movies back in the early 2000s there with Toby Maguire and his villains and how big of a deal all that was at that time, and the fact that we were getting a familiar face from the MCU from the Avengers movies, that we're just making this out to be something bigger than it really is. And I can't, I honestly can't say that I think it's one of the best Marvel movies. You know, I would put Endgame, Infinity War, Thor Ragnarok, probably the first Guardians of the Galaxy, first Iron Man, Captain America, Winter Soldier. I would easily put all those ahead of this Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home movie. Be honest with you, I think the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with Willem Dafoe might even be better than this one. You know, the old Kirsten Dunst. You know, that second Spider-Man movie in that series with Doc Ock, that was an awesome one too. I think I'd put that one ahead of this one. That's just my opinion, but you know, if you go out there and you watch it, I would love to hear what you think of this movie. Strip away that nostalgia. Take away Tobey Maguire. Take away Doc Ock. Take away Willem Dafoe, the Green Goblin. And then what do you got? Okay, then you're down to Andrew Garfield, Jamie Foxx's character, and the Sandman and Dr. Connors. Again, not really all that big of a deal. Not really all that important. Doesn't really do anything for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. You know, just kind of bizarre. You would have thought that they would have added some kind of a new villain to this MCU, to this Spider-Man character's movies, and given him something new to go with. You know, whether it was something coming in from to set up the X-Men movies, or you know, one of the other villains that we've been waiting for so long, just something. But no, we didn't. We just got a movie with old villains, and that was it. You know, and then at the end, you get that clip with Tom Hardy talking about, you know, he's carrying on a conversation with Venom about Spider-Man and everything, but there was no Venom in the movie. You know, just in that ending clip, that scene at during the credits. So even that, you know, that could have been a possibility, but no, nothing there. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. You know, what comes from this, and if this actually does become an important movie in the character arc of the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So, yeah, that's it. We saw it. It was good. Like I said, it was good, but it was good in you know, ways that are different than you might think. You know, there's the nostalgia. There was some good banter back and forth between some of the characters and Doctor Strange. You know, I think this actually did a little bit more for Doctor Strange to set up his next movie than it did to set up the next Spider-Man movie. Because this, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is the next one coming up. You know, and they had a clip during the credits that helps to set that up. You know, speaking of that, the Avengers, the first Avengers movie, that was definitely better than this one. Avengers Age of Ultron, I don't know. I wasn't too big on that one. I mean, that brought in some good stuff and everything, but yeah, I would definitely say though the first Avengers movie was definitely better than Spider-Man No Way Home. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. We still have Spider-Man because we don't have many of the other original Avengers left. I guess we'll be seeing Thor again here, Love and Thunder, when that one comes out. And then you got Doctor Strange, and eventually there'll be another Guardians of the Galaxy movie, from what I understand. But we're getting ready to see a whole new crop. You know, they've done the the couple of series on Disney Plus, and they've been some pretty good hits. I really liked the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Thought that was an awesome series. I'm excited to see where that goes. The one with Loki, that was a really good one. Turned out way better than I thought it was going to be. And then we just finished watching the Hawkeye series. Made Hawkeye look awesome. I was never all that big of a fan of Hawkeye, but that was a good one. It did a lot for his character. And I guess that's going to be the whole deal now. He's kind of going to fade off into the sunset. Maybe that girl's going to take his place. And it gives you a whole new Black Widow character, the original Black Widow's sister. So that was cool. Those series, they all served a good purpose. And they were very entertaining. They kept you interested. So, the Disney machine, the Disney Marvel machine just keeps on rolling. And you add that to their Star Wars stuff that they got going on now, and there's just no end in sight for them, right? How much money can one company make? Well, we're about to find out. So, talked about the equipment, talked about Spider-Man, some of that Marvel stuff there, and I think that's probably going to do it for this episode here. That's gone on long enough, but again, I'd like to hear what you guys think. If you get out there and you see that new Spider-Man No Way Home movie, would love to hear what you think about that. Or just where you think it ranks with some of the other Marvel movies. Shoot us an email, eshlemaniatv@gmail.com, or you can comment right here on this link for the video. Getting back to the power equipment, if there's anything you're really desperately looking for, go ahead and comment on here, saying you're looking for it. There's a lot of people that, we interact with and that watch this stuff and come to our channel, and read through the comments. They might be able to hook you up. If you're anywhere around the Amish country area here in Pennsylvania and you're looking for a specific piece of equipment, shoot us an email, eshlemaniatv@gmail.com. And if we can't find something for you, maybe one of our other dealer friends, we can reach out to them and see what they can do for you. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys out, help you save some money, help you with your repairs, help you keep your business going, keep your products going, keep your equipment going. We couldn't do all this that we do without you. So we do what we can to give back because it's the least we can do. Whatever way we can help you guys out, that's what we're here for. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and thanks for watching.